It is April 28th, Friday in the morning here. Yeah, had a pretty good week. I have the day off from work today. I have on-call rotations, and then when we complete a rotation, we're able to take like a comp day because we end up having to technically work over the weekend. Um, but yeah, I think in general it's been really good. Just kind of wrapping up my last bit of performance reviews with the team that I have. It's kind of interesting. It's not actually we do something at Microsoft called Connects, and it is a performance review, I would say. It's a really good opportunity for people to talk about, with their manager and the accomplishments they've had, things they want to reflect on, and get some alignment for their career. So it's like a performance review. The difference is that when as managers, in the next upcoming months, that's when we're actually doing more of the performance rewards, promotions, that kind of stuff to put forward. And then later on in the year, after things are approved and everything's finalized, that's when employees would see it. So this part is really the communication with employees for level setting expectations and things like that. And if you, if you watch my content, that kind of thing I believe is supposed to be happening often and frequently, but this is like the formal kind of part to that. Um, and then yeah, like later on there will be another conversation about like here are the rewards and compensation or promotions that have resulted in that, but that will be later in the summer. So anyway, it's good to wrap that up. It's a lot of effort. I think that there's you could look at it from the employee and the manager perspective. If you had employees that didn't care and you had managers that didn't care, the process might be pretty quick. But I try to put a lot of effort into it. I like going through talent guides with people so that I literally have examples of things that they've worked on, that align to the talent guide, or opportunities, right? Like, you might be at this level and I think you should focus in this space. Even if you're doing that stuff already, I just want to remind people, like, from my perspective, this is where the most value might be. So that's all wrapped up. That's good stuff. And then when one thing ends, there's always something else. So we're about to go into all of our planning and stuff like that. So that's going to be quite chaotic. A lot of stuff happens really fast. So it'll be a bit of a breather, I would say, over the next week. But even that breather is like, it's like it's like borrowed time, right? You if For folks that have gone through, like, at least my experience, college and university kind of thing, if you feel like you have free time, it's like it's not because it's free time, it's because you're forgetting to do something. So that's kind of the feeling that's about to creep in. I totally acknowledge it, but that's how it is. Okay, other cool stuff going on. Let's talk social media stuff. So I had a bit of a break over the past couple weeks just because of what I was just talking about. So about to dive back into it. But the coolest thing, in my opinion, happened yesterday. I guess like overnight. There was a YouTube creator. I don't know. Like, he's obviously from content creation and stuff, like a lot more successful than I am. But I wouldn't say like a not like a celebrity or something, even in the tech space, but um, he made a video that was like top five channels that he thinks are kind of like undervalued, sort of thing, right? Up and coming, undervalued, under 5,000 subscribers, I think. And he featured me as the fourth one, and quite literally, I think I had 340-ish subscribers on YouTube. In 24 hours, I've broken over 700, and it's so cool. That I don't know, like, from my perspective, obviously I'm not trying to say like it's just easy for him to go make videos, but if for someone in his position to be able to share like that and give me a couple of a minute, less than a minute, whatever it happened to be in the video, it was pretty quick, but like, just to give me that little bit of coverage was probably a small thing for him. And for my channel, like I said, like literally doubled my subscriber base. So I'm super thankful. His channel is called Code Wrinkles. I actually hadn't heard of Code Wrinkles before, so I subscribed to him. um I don't know. I feel like if people are making content like that, to be able to just share information, it's awesome. So I think the other really cool part, aside from like the shout out. That's super awesome to be recognized. Getting the extra followers, that's super awesome. The one thing that I don't know was like arguably even more cool was when he was explaining my content and my channel. I felt like how he said it was exactly how I'm trying to run my content creation. And he said that the content that I'm putting out there is a mix of like here's C sharp content, but also like as an engineering manager, I'm giving people software engineering perspective. And I don't know, he said he said it more eloquently than I'm putting right now, even as someone describing their own channel. But to me that was super cool to hear. It wasn't just like here's a guy who makes some C sharp stuff or here's a guy who talks about software engineering. He really hit the nail on the head for what I'm trying to show, which was it's both. I want to show people programming techniques. I want people to be able to break into programming, but I don't want you to stop there. I don't want you to be like, oh, I can optimize some algorithm or whatever and leave it there. I want you to think about like how do I operate as a software engineer professionally in my career? Um, because nailing the code is one part, but there's so much more. Anyway, super cool. Really excited about that. So I'm gonna be trying to film some stuff. Either I don't know if I'll get to it today. I actually have a lot of plans this weekend, so I'm gonna be fitting it in for sure though, because I want to get back on schedule. And yeah, I'm pretty pumped. Yeah, that was just it was really exciting to see that. So, yeah, we'll be trying to get back into blogs, videos, back to 3 a week videos. I'm hoping. Um, yeah, I'll probably do like a software engineering video, like a long form one on performance reviews and stuff like that. Just because that's pretty relevant. There was another topic that came up too and was kind of chatting. Like it actually had a bit of, for me at least, some LinkedIn traction that seemed pretty good. Which is really just about like the power of sharing feedback with people, right? Usually when I'm talking with more like my early in career mentorship kind of opportunities that I participate in, I try to focus on letting the junior people know like when you're giving feedback to other people, like you should like not try to avoid constructive criticism. Like you should try to provide that. It's very difficult for a lot of people to do because I think a lot of people feel awkward about it, right? Like I'm working with Joe and like there's something about working like it's good to work with Joe, but there's something that I kind of want to be able to share with him because it would be more effective, or maybe he does something that kind of feels like it slows me down or whatever it happens to be, right? Um, you don't do Joe any favors by just not telling him that. But it can be hard. Like if I wanted to be like Joe, like when you're pushing up code and you're asking me to review it and it's not quite ready to review, like um, for me it sucks kind of thing. Like you want to be able to like lean into your relationships that you have and find ways that you can build trust. And that way, if I had to tell Joe like that kind of sucks for me, I can find a better way to say like, "Hey Joe, it really sucks when you do whatever." Um, but if I were to say like, "Hey Joe, it's awesome to work with you. Really enjoyed these projects that we got to collaborate on, but I think that we could work more effectively if you were to find a bit more time to review your stuff. I found that I maybe spent a little bit more time on some of your reviews on some basic things. And I think if you kind of focus on that and nail it, like that's really going to level up like our ability to collaborate. Boom, right? Like you're telling someone you enjoy working with them, you give them a bit of feedback. And if you have a good trust and respect relationship with the person, um, it's it's kind of hard to take feedback and be like, wow, this person's just mean and they're rude. It's like, no, they're quite literally telling you that they enjoy working with you. And having that trust and respect means, like, think about it. If you really respected someone and they were like, I think you could do better by doing X or Y, like, you'd probably be like, man, okay, like, thank you. Right? So it's hard to give the feedback, but it's valuable. So I focus a lot on that, right? Sorry, I know that was a bit of a tangent. Where I'm going with this is that I actually had the opposite experience. Like people kind of do this all the time, where it's a little bit of we have something called perspectives at Microsoft, and when people give feedback, usually it's like, hey, like it was great to work with you on this project. Boom, that's it. That's nice to hear. It's a little bit empty. like it's not, like I said, it's nice to hear, but what do you do with that? Not a whole lot. But I actually had someone, for me at least, they went out of their way and not they didn't write that. They kind of wrote like a positive perspective for me. Like I always appreciate constructive criticism, but this was just heavy on the been great to see that you've grown in these spaces, like really had just have really observed like changes in what your scope is. And I was reading that and I really respect the person that wrote it, and I was sitting there like, holy shit, like that just feels so good. And for me, I'm a principal level software engineering manager. So if you think about it, this person's also at the principal level. I don't know if they're I'm sure they're a higher level than me, but whatever. If you think about me as a principal software engineering manager getting feedback like that and me being like, holy shit, like that feels so good. Think about the junior people, right? Think about the junior people getting that feedback. They're new in their career, they're still trying to explore stuff. Like we all have imposter syndrome at different points, right? But for junior people especially, kind of breaking into like you're working in big tech, you're working at Microsoft, like, and you're like, man, like this is a lot going on. Hearing something like that from someone that you look up to that's multiple levels above you would be like that could that could really set a fire under someone to be like, wow, that feels awesome. So I'm probably gonna make some content on just sort of like the power of that. And again, from like senior principal staff level, whatever your engineering levels are in your org, like you have a lot of influence, and you can do a lot of good with it. So just a reminder for people. Okay, what else? Meal coach stuff. We're syncing up with the other team next week. We pushed it from this past Wednesday just from some scheduling stuff. Want to focus on some product alignment. I kind of shared with the other team that like from our perspective, we're like, it's not that there's a lot of like technical overlap, and like even the product space has a lot of overlap, but we want to talk about it from a usability perspective. We don't just want to like mash things together because they feel similar. um, what's the experience going to be like? And what would be the plan if we were to try and move forward? Like how would we stage integration and all that kind of stuff? So I think we just want to talk more on the product side. Personally, I have zero concerns with the people or like or even the space that they're like looking in or how they're doing it. It all seems fine. It's just a matter of like they're complementary things to each other, and how would we go forward? So looking forward to that. Um, those guys are pretty excited and passionate about what they're doing. So that's also kind of a cool thing, right? On my side, though, for Meal Coach, I've been working a lot on Fitbit syncing. So I think the way that I'm using Meal Coach right now is primarily like for myself, just as a weight tracker. The coach that I have gives me my food, right? So I can't use Meal Coach to replace that. And if I wanted to integrate that better, it would seem a little bit contrived. And here's why. Um, I would have to, my coach tells me how much of like here's how many ounces of chicken, how many ounces of rice, whatever, oats. Basically it's an ingredient list, and they're pretty basic like bodybuilding style ingredients. Like so I actually don't know what my macros are. I could go calculate them, but that's bringing it back to Meal Coach. I would have to take the information my coach gives me. I could build something into Meal Coach or do it manually to reverse the macros and then plug it back into Meal Coach so that it could generate a meal plan for me. But there's so many steps that I just said there that I don't think are like a natural thing that I would want to productize. So I don't really use Meal Coach the way that I would want people to, and it's only because I have an actual coach. And I have an actual coach, sorry, that's not doing macros. He's doing. It's not even a meal plan. It's like it's in between, right? It's like an ingredient amount kind of thing. So it's just that part is not a good fit. We got a dog breaking in here. It's probably Lila. That's what she likes to do. But what I am interested in is I have narcolepsy, and from a sleep perspective, I'm very interested in my sleep data. And I don't go onto my Fitbit every day and check my graphs and stuff, but I have to log my weight every day in Meal Coach. So how cool would it be if when I'm logging my weight, I could just see my sleep patterns for the week so far? Like I would love seeing that. So I've been working on the integration for that. Literally before filming this, I pushed up a change. It won't graph it or show it in the user interface right now, but it does sync my sleep data directly into our storage, which is super cool. Like now, technically, we would be able to go support people that want to see their sleep data. There's a lot more stuff that Fitbit does have. I'm not rushing into just trying to like pull everything we possibly can, but for me, this was a bit more of a targeted, like, I would use this. And because we don't have users right now, different story, we have to get a little bit more aligned on our small team here to start pushing this. But because we don't have users, I'm trying to look at ways like, how do I want to use this? And even if I part ways with my coach, and that wouldn't be because I don't like him or anything, but if I decide to part ways, I would still want sleep data. I would want to see that. So to me, that's not like a waste. It's just something that probably I wouldn't have prioritized at this point. But because I want to use it, it makes sense for me. So anyway, that's that. I think what's now that I've just pushed that, there's a couple of like I actually learned a lot about a bunch of different things like server side. So I'm probably gonna refactor a couple of things about long running jobs on our ASP.NET Core architecture, um, just to clean that up for some best practices. But yeah, otherwise be looking forward to next Wednesday. Already at about just about 17 minutes here, so I'll part ways with you. Thanks so much for your support. I do appreciate it. Hope you get some cool insights from these videos, and we'll chat later. Thanks.